Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dark Ranger University. Dean Apeman is here. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, there is not that many Dark Ranger players to my surprise, and we need to have more. And let me tell you, I experimented a little bit with Dark Ranger in Undead Mirror. By the way, Undead Mirror I think is my worst matchup. I struggle in the late game Dark Ranger Undead Mirror fights. But you know what? I made this build a little bit easier for me. Because this build is amazing. This build with Dark Ranger has two important things, similar as versus Night Elf. You need to have, ladies and gentlemen, THICC PIT LORD. What is a THICC PIT LORD? As a second hero, you hire Pit Lord, you give him some nice items, and the more nice items he has, the more thick he has, and if he's super thick, he will be magnific and he will attack by a lot. Also, you add a Frostworm, right? So, because I said like that, ladies and gentlemen, is a super giga late game build. You need to practice your patience with this build. But you know what? If you open with Dark Ranger first, you don't need like a big army to creep. You just need a Dark Ranger in the good position, and ladies and gentlemen, you can just creep, you can harass, all is good. So, what's my plan? I really like to open with early Graveyard for two reasons. If my opponent tower rushes me, that actually happens. I have access to fast fiends, I have access to fast towers. And if my opponent is going for expansion himself, I can construct a very nice fiend tier 2 all-in versus my opponent. So I'm scouting what he's doing, and I see that he's going for ghoul opener. So maybe expansion is in the air. So what's my plan again? As you can see, I made 3 ghouls. And with those 3 ghouls, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tag very quickly. I'm going to buy my Dark Ranger at 2 minutes 15 seconds, and the name of the game is Harassment. If he is expanding, I'm going to slow down his expansion, and as I mentioned, I can add a beautiful fiends, and I can make my all-in. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the general idea. Okay, I'm scouting, and I see that he's not here. And you know what you do? You creep! And ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, Dark Ranger is perfectly fine with creeping alone. Look at this. I'm scouting with my Acolyte. I see that he has Leech and he grabbed a green camp. Ha ha! He used ghouls for that, and my Dark Ranger is creeping this beautiful, beautiful camp, ladies and gentlemen. I'm controlling his position with my Acolyte. I know where he is, so I can just creep very, very patiently. Inside of my base, I have second Ziggurat. I'm making my first fiend. If he's going to expand, remember, I have my beautiful fiend follow-up that I can push either with like Naga second, it depends. Scouting Acolyte, maybe I should check his main he's taking or not, but ladies and gentlemen, I know that my opponent will be level 2 and I'm creeping into level 2 direction as well. Sadly, this camp is not going to give me level 2, but look at this, I'm full HP, half mana. Overall, that's a pretty nice result. My opponent used a lot of ghoul uptime, and look at this, my tech is super fast. I have a beautiful fiend, I'm making the tower, I'm pinging where I think that my opponent is creeping, and you know what? Grabby said it best, if you creep, the most important part is to get the guy with the item. Then you life drain, you get the guy with the item, and if your opponent creepjacks you or goes for the rest of the camp, you don't care because you got the most important part. And ladies and gentlemen, look at this beautiful Dark Ranger. We have a beautiful 2 items, and the Dark Ranger is collecting items for a THICC PIT LORD. And look at this, the Lich is here. The Lich is like, oh my god, this Dark Ranger hero is such a weak hero. I'm going to Nova here, and I say bye. Dark Ranger has 320 movement speed. He's as fast as a Demon Hunter. And I am like, I did enough here. And ladies and gentlemen, look at this. What I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pull a little bit because I want to heal. I don't know if my opponent is going to attack me or not. Brave Fiend is going to acquire Pit Lord for me. And Dark Ranger is again collecting items for THICC PIT LORD. And this Dark Ranger magic, I'm healing, and at the same time I'm creeping, and I'm also tanking damage. So my fiends are in a brand new shape. Pit Lord is here, and ladies and gentlemen, Dark Ranger is going to greet the THICC Lord with 3 items. He will have +6 armor and gloves of haste. Remember, Pit Lord likes survivability, And Pit Lord likes damage items as well because it's scaling with Cleave. And look at me, I'm cool as cucumber. And you look at this, I'm not even using the undead shop because I'm saving the mana. Saving the gold for my frostworms, for my tier 3 things. Do you feel like I was missing some skeletons in this game? Not really. And look at this. My opponent is going here and he's going for the acolytes. And remember, in this position, you need to start jumping with your acolytes, you know, moving them. You need to start, you need to cancel your tech sadly. And you know what? This guy is a very good undead, but he went deep into my base without escape plan. He sold his TP. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a Lich hunting season. I'm going for this Lich hard. I have life drain. This Lich is going to die extremely quickly. And was it worth it for the cancellation? I don't think so. I know that colors, they look a little bit similar, but look at this life drain plus cold arrow attack from the Nerubians, and I'm going to kill almost all of his ghouls, ladies and gentlemen. This is beautiful. Yes, I lost acolytes. Yes, I lost gold, but let me tell you, I killed a lot of stuff. So yes, my opponent, he gave me a gift, and you know what? I lost a lot of gold, I lost a lot of stuff, I don't care. I have my Dark Ranger, and look at this, Dark Ranger is going to take all of the damage from this creep camp. And Pit Lord, because if he's not being hurt, he can just apply a lot of damage himself. And remember, if you, okay, what's the item? Wand of Mana Stealing? I'm selling this item immediately. I lost gold because my acolyte were killed, ladies and gentlemen. So now I want to have a little bit more units. +2 strength, that's for THICC Lord. Look at this guy, he's THICC, he's Magnific, because I have skeletons, right? I should be scouting his expansion. SaulApeMan, do it! Okay, I did not scout his expansion, that's on me. I'm sorry. And ladies and gentlemen, now I'm pulling a little bit because I'm afraid of my opponent being there. But yes, the most important part, put your Dark Ranger in front. Okay, that's the real Lich, I think. So remember, you need to be very patient. You need to be very patient. Do you see frostworms here? No. Is there orb of corruption on my Pit Lord? No. I just need to be patient. I have a TP. I have Dark Ranger. So put Dark Ranger in front and start life draining. That's what is happening, ladies and gentlemen. Howl of Terror. Don't go for rain. Go for Howl of Terror. And ladies and gentlemen, Dark Ranger should do. What I don't want to do, I don't want to lose my fiends, right? Because they're very fragile, I don't have coil. So Dark Ranger in front, and the fact that we are wasting time here is not the end of the world for me, you know? And remember, you need to be brave. Dark Ranger needs to be brave. Dark Ranger in front, and just life drain. Life drain is very cheap, even if you know I'm life draining like 50 HP, 70 HP, that's okay. And in the meantime, my tier 3 power spike is going up. My economy is looking good. And look at this, Dark Ranger took attention of the undead army is also small, my opponent, because he lost a lot, and it was enough for Mighty Pit Lord, ladies and gentlemen, to get his level. And I already sold the item. +2 agility, you may say, sold Dark Ranger agility hero. We won this on Pit Lord, all on Pit Lord. Attack speed is amazing with Cleave. It gives him armor. Go Pit Lord, go. This Lich wants to click on my beautiful fiends, but I'm saying no. I'm going to protect him with my Dark Ranger. Remember, you may say, Saul, you said to us that you can spam life drain as much as you want, and this is true. For 9 minutes I was doing this, and you may say, Saul, we ran out of mana. Now we have an obsidian statue. Now we can get this amazing mana regen. And look at this, his second hero is on level 1 and my Pit Lord is on level 3. This guy is so thick, this guy is so magnific. I'm starting to lose fiends. My opponent has a lot of mana. My opponent has dust. I use a burrow technology, but this poor fiend is detected. And ladies and gentlemen, this is quite annoying. I'm very scared of my fiends. I'm going for my Death Knight. So as you saw, I probably should send the fiends back home earlier. I don't know. This freaking Lich is a fiend sniper. But we are in the safety of my base. And ladies and gentlemen, yes, my army is immobile. You may say, Saul, you will never follow well-kiting undead. You know what? Saul, plant the boneyard. Saul, you have so much gold and lumber. Plant the boneyard. With boneyard, we'll have slow technology. And you may say, Saul, but your opponent will make a lot of like fiends. versus Mighty THICC Lord? Good luck with that. My Mighty THICC Lord was updated with Orb. By the way, Death Knight Third is very important. Leech is not as great from my testing. You need to have an ability to keep the Pit Lord alive with coils and to keep the Frostworms alive with coils as well. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not operational yet. You are going to be operational when you have your amazing Frostworm. The first Frostworm. Remember, in this build, Ghoul, you don't even go for Ghoul Frenzy, ladies and gentlemen. You rely on basically you only rely on you know, the Fiend and Destroyer and Frostworm damage. So don't even upgrade your ghouls, in my opinion. They are just here to get lumber. And ladies and gentlemen, look at this. My Death Knight is creeping a little bit. I got Healthstone. You know, keeping one Healthstone on Death Knight is okay, because if he's low level before level 2 aura, he may be picked up easily. And remember, if you meet your opponent, don't fight before the Frostworm. So yes, my macro in this game wasn't the best. I'm trying to change it a little bit. And ladies and gentlemen, I know that I need to be patient now, you know? I'm testing the waters. I'm like, okay, he's expanding. Maybe I can cancel his expansion and go back. And look at this. Hall of Terrorist 2. Here, of course, just on level 1. We go for Cleave. Cleave is our main objective. My Death Knight is going to escape this. And I decided to use the item because it gives me more time to attack my opponent expansion. We will force his expansion to be cancelled. And yes, I need to wait for my Frostworm. I'm still not online. I'm just buying a little bit of time. But I really like this situation where I am. So yes, this fight is not good for me. I can even teleport out. I would not be like angry for teleporting out. My opponent ran out of Dust of Appearance. So as you can see, Burrow Technology is here. Okay, he's using Crystal Ball or Reveal to get my Fiend, and look at my Pit Lord. My mighty Pit Lord is cleaving. And what you make to shoot with your Pit Lord? Let him loose. Let him loose. He needs to cleave. 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 You like make sure that he's like not walking too much. He's like a real gamer. Okay, he doesn't like to walk too much. He just likes to, you know, attack. So you need to maximize DPS per second for Pit Lord. It's a little bit like with Blade Master. If you're like a new player, sometimes you go Blade Master Windwalk and he stays AFK in a big fight, you know? That's problematic. There was one free ghoul here, and you look at this. I wanted to make like a trap for my opponent. So it's like my opponent is like, oh my god, this guy is creeping the red camp. Let's find him. And yes, he had a flying unit, so he saw me. But I wanted to make a trap for him, but I wasn't able to web his destroyer. Remember, you need web because your Fiends are amazing versus destroyer. Don't make your own destroyer, in my opinion. I mean, he can have silence. And look at this. Frostworm is the best friend of Pit Lord. Okay, I miss micro my Frostworm a little bit here, but look at this. Pit Lord and Frostworm, that's the best duo. Frostworm is going to prepare the target, and Pit Lord is going to cleave. And cleave. And we force one Fiend to be dead. And you know what? His army composition is the second Frostworm flying in. Oh yes, baby. We have 2 Frostworms with 1 attack upgrade. It's good for my... Okay, look at this. Pit Lord should be in front, so that's on me. And ladies and gentlemen, yes, remember, Pit Lord likes to attack, and the Frostworms are here. I thought that my Frostworm has like red HP, and now remember, if you use Life Drain, sometimes you can use Life Drain, you know, to kill your Frostworm. I will lose 1 here, so that was a little bit, I could maybe heal my own. And look at this, silence for silence. I killed his Dark Granger, and the biggest problem is that I'm not webbing his destroyers. Web? Oh, finally. On purpose, I moved my Fiends a little bit further. And ladies and gentlemen, look at this. I got his destroyer. He webbed my last Frostworm, but now I'm well equipped to keep my magnificent Frostworm alive. So ladies and gentlemen, Soul Dark Ranger, man, it works. It's one base technology. Very slow, but I'm very patient. And remember, ghouls just provide lumber for you. And with Frostworms, you can creep so quickly. And remember, versus Undead, I really recommend to play Frost Silence on level 4. And even Silence on level 5, if you think that you use it well. But yes, Dark Arrow is not that great if your opponent is, you know, you are not going to make too many skeletons, he has destroyers already. And speaking about destroyers, look at my Pit Lord. My Pit Lord is reaching the next level of being thick. Level 4, this Cloak of Flames. Mamma mia, mamma mia. Pit Lord is unkillable. 1050 HP, 10 armor in total. He has life drain support, he has coil support. And my opponent is here on me. Okay, bad position of Soul Noobman statue. Soul Noobman, you should be positioning a little bit better. But look at my Pit Lord go. Look at my Pit Lord go. Finally, the web is here. I need to, like, spam your spells. It's a lot of buttons to click, I understand that. But remember to not click too much with your Pit Lord, actually. Because Pit Lord is busy cleaving. And man, I have such a big, you know, advantage in the experience department. But my opponent has better micro than me. So he's a little bit, you know, holding here, but yes, my Pit Lord is magnificent, my Frozen is very healthy, and ladies and gentlemen, the longer game goes, the better. That's the magic of the Pit Lord, right? And the Frozen. Like, when I get level 5 Pit Lord, ladies and gentlemen, crazy things will happen, and that's beautiful. That's beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. There is one thing here. We have, I'm chasing him because why not? My opponent is adding a Banshees, so maybe now I should morph my Destroyer just to make sure that there is no annoying cares on my Pit Lord. So if I have cares on my units, I definitely should go for the Destroyers. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a super easy to micro army. You just focus on your spending your mana basically, and Pit Lord can attack, Frozen can attack. And now what you see, I have not that many statues. I need to make more statues. And do I have an incentive to creep? Yes. I want level 5 Dark Ranger for better silence. I want level 5 Pit Lord for making him even more thing. Death Knight level 5 is not going to happen this game, most likely, but I want Aura level 2. So, like, every hero advantage is good, right? And again, I should, like, make one skeleton to scout his expansion. And look at this. I have 500 lumber. I hope that I'm doing some upgrades. We'll see about that. I have 1 upgrades, because look at this. I have 2 Frostworms and 5 Fiends. So basically, yes, I would think 2-1 upgrades. I have a little bit too much lumber. And ladies and gentlemen, I see that my opponent is going for very unfortunate position. I felt a little bit bad for him. He's trapped between the turtles. And look which unit is inside of his army. Cloak of Flames, THICC Lord. Who is thicker? This big turtle of my Pit Lord, ladies and gentlemen. This is the who is thicker showdown. And let me tell you, this Lich is maybe surviving because of the coils by my Pit Lord is cleaving left and right. And ladies and gentlemen, this game was an example how to be very patient. My opponent was better than me, but he was surprised with Dark Ranger. And I knew to follow this very patient recipe. Should I micro better? Yes. Should I scout better? Yeah. Should I spend my lumber better? Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, a little bit hard to get used to this patience. It's a little bit hard to get used to Dark Ranger creeping, but when you master it, you'll get rewarded with this great, thick, magnific Pit Lord. Thank you guys for watching, and subscribe for more videos like that. Leave the comment, and bye.